Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is Rabbi Daniel Pernick, and I'm very happy to be with you, not only as we celebrate Shabbat today, Friday, August the 21st, but today is an additional holiday. It is Rosh Chodesh. That means the head of the Chodesh, the month. It is a new month, a new moon on the Jewish calendar. And in fact, it is the beginning of not just any month, but the final month of the year. That's right. 1 month from today is, or actually tonight, 4 weeks from tonight, will be Rosh Hashanah. How about that? So we're almost there. We're almost at the new year, which will be 5781. Now, this month that we are entering, that we actually entered last night, on the Jewish calendar is called Elul, E-L-U-L. And it is said to be a month for romance and love. So, why is that especially appropriate? Well, first of all, we have just come out of the month of Av. The month of Av, certainly the beginning of it, is a time of sadness and mourning as we recall the destruction of King Solomon's temple, and then, many centuries later, the rebuilt Second Temple. So, the 3 weeks after the 9th day of Av are times when our spirits are getting higher and hope is refilling our soul and optimism. But now we enter this month called Elul, and the name Elul is said to symbolize a very famous verse from the Bible. Most of you know it. I'll tell it to you in Hebrew, which may or may not be familiar to you, but the English I think you're going to know. The Hebrew says, Ani lidodi vidodi li. And that is a 4-word quote from the biblical book Song of Songs. In Christian Bibles, it's often called Song of Solomon. And it translates to, I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. Those 4 Hebrew words, Ani lidodi vidodi li, if we take the first letter of each word, it spells Elul. And so it's a time that, like I said, is seen as a time of love. And that's very appropriate because as we enter the new year, as we approach the new year, we are focusing on our loving relationship with God. And we are trying to strengthen that relationship. And that's, as they say in the Hokey Pokey, that's what it's all about. So we're going to celebrate Shabbat, which is one of the very special gifts that God has given us. And we're going to do so starting with a song called Ma Yafeh Hayom, a song that we have sung very, very often in person. Hopefully we will again be able to sing it in person once our coronavirus situation is over. And hopefully that will be something we will all be able to celebrate sometime in this new year. Probably not at the beginning of the new year, but hopefully a little later on we will be able to come together in person again. So join me in the song. There are 5 words. Ma Yafeh Hayom. What a beautiful day it is today. And then the last 2 words are Shabbat Shalom. Now, we've had some beautiful weather. Of course, we had some really terrible weather before, but now we've had some beautiful weather. But that's not what Ma Yafeh Hayom means. It's not talking about the weather. It's saying Shabbat is that beautiful day. Whether it's sunny, whether it's raining, even if it was snowing, Shabbat is what makes it special. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on today. So again, 5 words. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. What a beautiful day it is today. A peaceful Sabbath is what we hope we all enjoy. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Ma Yafeh Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Bum bum. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bum. Chiri biri biri bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Sing with me. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. And of course, it's really nice to get together, even in this way. It would be nicer in person, but this is good too. It's better than not getting together, and so many of us are not able to get together with family or friends, either at all or certainly not as much as we would hope to nowadays. So this song comes from the Bible, from the book of Psalms. The words mean, "Behold how good and how pleasant it is when we are able to gather together." Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov, hinei ma tov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hinei ma tov, hinei ma tov. Ya la la, ya la 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 la. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. And now, as we do every Friday, we take a few moments to kindle light. Light is a symbol of God's presence, and we always kindle 2 lights, sometimes more, but at least 2, to welcome Shabbat, to welcome this holy day, the day which is described in Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2, that God created the world in 6 days, and on the 7th day, God looked at all that God had done and said, "This is very good." God rested. And that's why we rest. That's why we make something very special out of this day, so that it's not just another day of the week. We elevate it by our actions and by our inaction, by taking rest and not working and doing some of the things that cause us stress during the week. So if you know the words of the blessing, please say it together with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe. You have sanctified us with your commandments, and you have commanded us to kindle the Sabbath light. And together we say, Amen. I'm going to put this down right now. And we're going to continue with a couple of songs in English. The first song says, God is here. God is there. God is everywhere. And it speaks to the Jewish belief that God is not limited, that God is unlimited, and God is everywhere. And that we, in fact, really are part of God. God is here. God is there. God is truly everywhere. God is here, God is there, God is truly everywhere. Up, up, down, down, right, left, and all around, here, there, and everywhere. That's where God can be found. Up, up, down, down, right, left, and all around, here, there and everywhere. That's where God can be found. So as I said, Shabbat is a really special day, but part of what makes it special is that we make the effort. We've got to feel it, right? If we don't feel it, it's just kind of another day. You know, things happen, but we have to get into it. So this song talks about having that Shabbat feeling. I've got that Shabbat feeling up in my head, up in my head, up in my head. I've got that Shabbat feeling up in my head, up in my head today. I've got that Shabbat feeling in my heart, deep in my heart, deep in my heart. I've got that Shabbat feeling deep in my heart, deep in my heart today. I've got that Shabbat feeling down in my toes, down in my toes, down in my toes. I've got that Shabbat feeling down in my toes, down in my toes today. I've got that Shabbat feeling all over me, all over me, all over me. I've got that Shabbat feeling all over me, all over me today. Bum, bum. Now, a couple weeks ago in our Torah portion, we read some words that we chant together every week, and they are kind of the foundation of the Jewish religion. The words say, "Hear, O Israel, listen, O children of Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one." Now you might wonder, why are the Jewish people called the children of Israel? Anybody know? Well, the answer really goes way, way back in our history. So we had Abraham, right? Abraham, and he was married to Sarah. The next generation was Isaac, and his wife was Rebekah. And then the next generation after that was Jacob. Now, Jacob had 2 wives. There's a whole story about how that happens in the Bible. He didn't mean to have 2 wives, but he was sort of tricked into marrying the older sister, Leah, when he really wanted to marry the younger sister, Rachel. So he ended up marrying them both, and they each had sort of something called a concubine, which was kind of a legal, I wouldn't even call it a mistress, but I mean, because she was really somebody who kind of was connected more with the woman than with the man. But the bottom line was that Jacob had 13 children. He had 12 sons and 1 daughter. And in a story that's described in the Bible, one night an angel appears and wrestles with Jacob. And they're wrestling all night long. And neither can prevail, neither can win against the other. And finally, the sun is starting to rise, and angels, we are told, are either daytime angels or they're nighttime angels. An angel is a messenger from God, and they have a curfew. The angel had to get back. The sun was rising. And the angel said, "You have to let me go." And Jacob said, "I'm not letting you go unless you bless me." And so the angel blesses Jacob with the name Yisrael, or Israel, meaning one who has wrestled with the godly, with the divine. And so that's where Jacob has his name changed. He now is known as Israel. He's still called Jacob sometimes, but he's also known as Israel. Those 12 sons of his were the beginning of the 12 tribes of Israel. They were the children of Israel, the sons of Israel, the children of Israel, and that's where the term came from. Okay, so now we know. Anyhow, back to the Shema Yisrael in the book of Deuteronomy, the 5th book of the Torah. Moses says these words to the children of Israel. We continue to repeat them traditionally every morning and every evening. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. And the second line, which does not come from the Bible, but was written much, much later, says, "Blessed is God's glorious kingdom forever and ever." So we sing together the words of the Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. And it's great when we're able to come together, so we sing a song celebrating the idea that we're able to come together and be happy. Hava Nagila. Hava Nagila Hava. Nagila Hava. Nagila Vendesmecha. Hava Nagila Hava. Nagila Hava. Nagila Vendesmecha. Hava Neranana. Hava Neranana. Hava neranana venismecha. Hava neranana. Hava neranana. Hava neranana venismecha. Uru. Uru. Achim. Uruachim. Belev sameach. Uruachim. Belev sameach. Uruachim. Belev sameach. Uruachim. Belev sameach. Uruachim. Uruachim, Belev Sameach. Okay. So as we enter this final month of the year, we start to think about how we can ask forgiveness of those around us. We begin the process of repentance. We try to think what we can do to make ourselves better, how we can make the world a better place. And of course, one of the wishes that we all have is for peace. Obviously, we want an end to COVID-19, which is caused by the coronavirus. The world has many, many afflictions. And of course, coronavirus is one of them, but war, hostility, terrorism, violence, murder, those are all bad. So we want peace. And we ask God's help in bringing our world to a more peaceful time. And so we sing this prayer called Oseh Shalom, which asks God to help make peace in our world. Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. So this week we many of us watched the Democratic National Convention, and next week many of us will watch the Republican National Convention. And one of the purposes of these conventions is to celebrate the people of those political parties, and especially the ones who are leading the party. All right, especially this year, those who will be running in the November 3rd election for president and vice president. And this week's Torah portion, which is known as Shoftim, which means judges, has a lot to say about leadership. Because the kind of person you select as your leader has a big influence on you. It's not like you just choose them and then they do their thing and it doesn't affect you. It has an enormous impact on us, on the people around us, on the economy around us, on so many different things, how we deal with good times, how we deal with bad times. So it's a very, very important choice that we're all going to be making in the next 2.5 months. So I would just like to read to you these words from the Torah. Give me just 1 second. We're going to find some good glasses that will help. And so this is from the beginning of this week's Torah portion. It is from the 5th and final book of the Torah, the book of Deuteronomy. And it says, "You shall appoint judges and officials for your tribes in all the settlements that the Lord your God is giving you, and they shall govern the people with justice. You shall not judge unfairly. You shall show no favoritism. You shall not take bribes, because bribes blind the eyes of the discerning and upset the plea of the just. Justice, justice shall you pursue, that you may thrive and occupy the land that the Lord your God is giving you." So we see there that God, Moses, the leadership of our people, we are being told, they tell us very, very clearly that we need honest leaders, right? Leaders who bribe and people who take bribes and who act unfairly, unjustly, end up making a mess, all right? And we are to pursue justice. And throughout Jewish history, that is what we've tried to do. We've always tried to help people who were in need, and when we saw a problem, we tried to get involved and to make it better. We didn't always succeed, but that's what we're supposed to do, okay? And it should come from the top. So we all need to vote in November. Of course, we're allowed to vote even earlier because we can vote by mail, absentee ballot, etc. But we need to vote for the ones who we think are really going to give us justice and make our country a better place. So everybody has their own opinion, but the most important thing is that we all use our freedom as Americans to vote. And I certainly hope that you will all do that in the weeks and months ahead. I don't think we can vote quite yet, but in about another month or so, I think that you actually can begin to send in those ballots. So I certainly hope you will do so. Okay, let's go to our closing song for this Shabbat Rosh Chodesh, this Sabbath, which is the beginning of the new month of Elul. And we're going to sing a little Ein Keloheinu, a song that says there is no one like our divine leader, no one like our God. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadoneinu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Chadonenu, Mi Chemalkeinu, Mi Chemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. And now as we prepare to say goodbye for another week, a non-religious, but just a very nice folk song, Israeli Hebrew folk song, which says, "Goodbye, my friends, until we meet again. Shalom chaverim, lehit ra'ot. Shalom chaverim, shalom chaverim, shalom, shalom, lehit ra'ot, lehit ra'ot, shalom, shalom." Once more. Shalom chaverim, shalom chaverim, shalom, shalom, lehit ra'ot, lehit ra'ot, shalom, shalom. So on Shabbat, it is customary, of course, not only to kindle the light, but to drink the fruit of the vine. and of course to have a delicious challah as well as a wonderful meal on Friday night, which hopefully all of us will be able to do. So now, I don't have the challah here, but I do have some delicious fruit of the vine, which we're going to pour. And one of the most important things about this blessing, which we call the Kiddush or Kiddush, is that we're saying thank you to God. We're not taking our blessings for granted. And whether this was a week where we experienced many blessings or just a few, we should be grateful for all that we have. So with this Kiddush cup, which I purchased in Jerusalem a number of years ago, the Holy City, a city that was originally established as the capital of the Jewish people, the capital of Israel, some 3,000 years ago. It's a long time, right? And that's where this Kiddush cup came from. So we're going to recite the blessing, which in English translation means, "Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen." Amen. L'chaim. That's very good. There's nothing worse on Shabbat than when you get some wine or grape juice and it's not good. Yeah, it's not good, but this is very good. So I hope you also have some good fruit of the vine. So as I said, we are entering, or we have entered, the last month of the year. 4 weeks from tonight, we will kindle the candles and we will bless Shabbat, but we will also say the blessing over the new year. 4 weeks away, so this is the perfect time to start thinking of times where we spoke harshly to people, maybe we were mean, maybe we didn't do as much to help them, and to ask their forgiveness. It's a process. It will take time, and we start to forgive people as well for what they did wrong to us. So I want to begin that process right here, and I'm obviously very sorry I have not been able to see you in person for the past 5 months or so, but I'm very happy that we have this way that we can get together. And I hope that any ways that I might have hurt or disappointed you in the past year, you will forgive me for, and I forgive you for any ways in which you disappointed or hurt me. So with that, I'm Rabbi Daniel Pernick from Beth Am Temple in Pearl River, New York, and I want to wish you all a Shabbat Shalom, a Chodesh Tov, and I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Stay safe, and stay healthy.